So who carried the day and why? What does the scoreline read in the Lok Sabha? Remember, this was Rahul Gandhi's first day, first show as leader of the opposition. The first time the Prime Minister responding to what Rahul Gandhi said and the way the opposition set the tone and tenor for the 18th Lok Sabha. So what does the scoreline read and why? Who carried the day? Joining me on this broadcast, Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, squaring off against him, Madhu Gaudiyashki of the Congress party. We've got Sanjay Jha, political analyst, and Kanchan Gupta, who till very recently was a key part of this government. I want to go across to Shehzad first, because you would naturally argue, and I wanted to explain why you think that at the end of the day, the Prime Minister has managed to deliver enough punches for the scoreline to read 1-0. Because the opposition will say, by shouting throughout, we had the Prime Minister on the defensive, he wasn't able to make the speech the way he would have wanted if he had unfettered play of Parliament. And they'll say, we raised the issue of Manipur, which the Prime Minister did not respond to, and therefore, it's not as if the Prime Minister has a clear-cut victory. So explain why you think the scoreline reads Modi 1, Rahul 0. Shehzad Poonawalla.
First of all, Rahul, I want to use your platform to extend condolences to the 100+ lives and the families of those people who have lost their lives in a tragedy in Hathras. And Rahul, I want to at the outset concede that if parliamentary democracy is reduced to who won, Modi won or Rahul won, then I am happy to concede defeat, because India should win every time there is a discussion in Parliament. And today, Rahul, I leave it to the wisdom of you and your viewers whether India wins when your slogan transforms immediately from Daro Mat to Suno Mat. When you keep preaching about democracy, sunne ki shamta rakho, tolerance, don't be a dictator, after having 100 minutes of the leader of opposition speak, which was riddled with unbridled falsehoods, after that you do not even have the patience to listen to Prime Minister. And forget everything else, Rahul, you have also tweeted about this, but you don't even have the patience at the end of the speech when Prime Minister was extending condolences to the families of Hathras. At that time too, they were shouting Bharat Jodo, Bharat Jodo. I can understand Manipur, even though Manipur was not relevant in this context. But Bharat Jodo, that is what you're chanting when Prime Minister is extending condolences on Hathras. And if you want to win this, Rahul, I am conceding from part of BJP that they have won. They have won because they used the platform of Parliament to lie. They lied about MSP, they lied about Agniveer, they lied about Ayodhya compensation. It's been busted on social media. I don't need to go into details.
No, so whether they lied or told the truth is one part of the debate. The more fundamental part, Madhu Gaudiyashki, you're looking quite different from the last time I saw you, is the ability to listen, no matter what the Prime Minister has to say. Good back, Shehzad Bhai, I'm coming back to you in a moment. Madhu Gaudiyashki, shouldn't the opposition have at least listened to what the Prime Minister had to say and then found different ways of rebutting it through whatever argument they wanted to make? It almost seemed as if opposition leaders had come with the intent that we will disrupt the Prime Minister's address no matter what.
Rahul, the Prime Minister of the country, we thought after these elections, his arrogance will come down. Unfortunately, what respect is giving to the leader of opposition? Has he ever met the leaders of opposition? When UPA came back to power,
Madhu, you're not answering my question. My question is, why didn't the opposition listen to what the Prime Minister had to say? Why was he being heckled all the way through?
I'm coming to that point. Listen to what Prime Minister is saying. What Prime Minister is saying, instead of talking about the country, the NEET exam, paper leak, unemployment, price rise, he is only speaking, giving a political bastion, bashing the Congress party. Is it the way to address a leader of opposition?
No, but your heckling started even before he came to target the Congress party. It almost was as if the Congress and the opposition had determined in advance that they would not listen to the Prime Minister. They came with a set agenda. The problem is, you want that there be debate and discussion in Parliament, but if the opposition has this approach, you'll never have any discussion or debate in Parliament.
When did they allow the discussion? When the 24 lakhs of the youth are suffering, their future is at stake, did Prime Minister ever spoke about the paper leak? Why didn't the Prime Minister allow the discussion on the NEET exam? Why the Prime Minister of the country?
This is in response to the President's address, Madhu Yakshi. You aren't answering my question, sir. Madhu, you're way too smart not to answer. No, sir, Madhu. I know that you're much smarter than you're appearing to be right now. You know exactly what I'm trying to ask and you're not trying to answer it. My point is, it doesn't matter what the Prime Minister says, the opposition will never like what he says. But shouldn't they have heard what the Prime Minister had to say at the very basic tenet of democracy? Listen to what your opponent is saying.
Let me answer to you as a former member of parliament. 10 years I was in the parliament, Lok Sabha, served 2 terms. You have seen, Rahul, and how the BJP used to behave. How many times the BJP as sitting in the opposition allowed the UPA government to function, allowed the budget and major bills to be passed. Many times as to they've interrupted the discussions, debates in the parliament for months. So we don't have to learn from the BJP what the parliamentary democracy is. And especially when the Prime Minister, we thought that the Prime Minister will be more amenable, acceptable, or access to the opposition.
So here's your best argument. I want Kanchan Gupta to respond to this. Now, once again,
Rahul,
Madhu Yashki's best argument is the BJP has done this to the Congress when the Congress was in power. The likes of Arun Jaitley used to say protests are a legitimate means of making your voice heard, and even disruptions are acceptable in parliamentary democracy. They've done this to us, now we'll do this to them.
When the mic of the leader of opposition is switched off, how do you expect to be listened
no,
to
but
the Prime Minister?
the specific argument is about what happened in Parliament today when the Prime Minister was heckled all through his speech. And the question is, shouldn't the opposition have heard? Your strongest argument is the BJP did this to us, Kanchanda, when we were in power. Why should we treat them any differently?
Well, then you can keep on playing that game for ever, so it doesn't help either side. And it definitely does not help the opposition. And if the opposition wants what it has to say, what it has to offer by way of alternatives to be taken seriously, then they just cannot behave or continue to behave in this manner. So what was evident today is that the opposition has more or less decided that we shall not allow Parliament to function. Now, if that is what they consider to be constitutionally correct, and that it sort of strengthens what they have to say about democracy and the right to be heard in the right forum, then good luck to them.
No, but Kanchanda, the opposition can say we put the Prime Minister on the defensive. He didn't have an unfettered play in
Rahul,
Parliament.
I mean, you keep on. First of all, listen. This was a debate.
Yes.
It was a motion on sort of, it was based on the President's speech to the joint session of Parliament, joint sitting of Parliament, and it was a motion of thanks. So ideally you restrict yourself to what all was mentioned by the President in his or her speech. That is what parliamentary propriety and rules say. Now you digress. You keep on talking about the Kisan did not get MSP. The man doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't even know what is MSP or the history of MSP. Then you say that Agniveers don't get any compensation if they die in line of duty. Again, that is not true. So you can say that I spat so many times and the Prime Minister couldn't sort of stop me from spitting at him or at the treasury benches. I mean, that is a very feeble, and I think you have used, or India Today has used the word infantile. Now, it wasn't infantile really, it was very immature of the manner in which he spoke. Now, one could go on and on and on. Like Akhilesh Yadav stands up and talks about exams in UP or exams in India. The Samajwadi Party came, the moment it came to power, and his father was the chief minister at that time. The first decision of the first cabinet meeting was to annul the law which Rajnath Singh had brought in as education minister to prevent cheating and prevent leakage of questions.